Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. I got a slick comment from someone in my video where I talked about how Michael Carpenter allegedly took the life of your Nicole Hammond. Now, this individual wants to say that the only reason why I made a video on your Michael Carpenter and Nicole Hammond is because I wanted to go out here and sell books. Well, what this individual doesn't know is that I have been writing about men's issues for years, first on my blog, and then after people started reading my blog, I started going out here and looking to make books about this so that I could go out here and help men all across the globe. And for years, I gave away these books for free because I wanted to help men all across the globe be able to understand how to navigate this world and avoid many of the pitfalls that take a lot of men out in places like the job market. And the reason why I go out here and write books like Stop Simping in the Workplace is because I don't want to see another man, especially another black man, fall into this pitfall and then wind up losing his job, losing his professional reputation, and losing his career, and even worse, losing his freedom, like Michael Carpenter wound up losing as a result of him getting caught up in his lust over some white girl. Because I've seen so many guys go out here and practically lose their ability to go out here and make a living because there was no father in their lives to teach them male life skills, there was no father to teach them male survival skills, and there was no father to teach them how to move in this world. And that's why those guys sadly wind up falling into pitfalls like your Michael Carpenter did when he went out here and allegedly brought a firearm to his work, waited in the parking lot for Nicole Hammond, and wound up taking her life allegedly. I don't want to see another man, especially another black man, wind up getting jammed up like that, and that's why I took the time to put my fingers to the keyboard and write a book like Stop Simping in the Workplace, because I know that there's a lot of guys out here who don't know how things work in the workplace, and because they don't know how things work in the workplace, they go out here looking to do dumb things like put a move on a woman at the job. And what's even worse is because some of these guys possibly come from single mother households, they don't understand that the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. And they'll continue to press, thinking that, oh, if I ask again, I'm going to go out here and get her attention, and eventually she'll say yes. But the only thing you're doing is setting yourself up for a trip to the Human Resources Office where she's going to make a claim of sexual harassment. And once she makes that claim of sexual harassment, you're going to be on your way out the door, escorted by a security guard, and trying to find a way to salvage your career. Because once you get a claim of sexual harassment on your professional record, it becomes that much harder for you to get hired at the next job, especially if you are a heterosexual black man. If you are a heterosexual black man and you go out here and get a claim of sexual harassment on your professional record, then it's going to be next to impossible for you to go out here and get another job, because most of these employers, again, they're already racist and they don't like black men. And the whole idea of you having this whole sexual harassment label basically makes it where people see you as a black brute, and they believe and they fear that you're going to go out here and do harm to one of these white women on this job, and they fear that they're going to be liable if something happens to one of these white women on this job or any other woman on this job. So you basically make it where you make it that much harder for you to go out here and get and keep one of these jobs by going out here looking to try to go out here and try to call yourself making a move on one of these women at this job. And I go in depth on this in Stop Simping in the Workplace because I understand that some people, they need to be able to read this information in order for it to register and process this information. So that's why I put fingers to the keyboard, because again, I don't want to see another man, especially another black man, wind up getting jammed up where they're the one who's going to be out of a job, and then you have the woman who is still going to be out here making that paper, and you're going to be sitting up here broke or working underemployed in some place like fast food, winding up with your life basically going nowhere. Because what happened with your Michael Carpenter is that he basically wound up in a place where he threw away a very good job, making some good money, all because he couldn't control himself. And because he couldn't control himself and his lust for this woman, Nicole Hammond, he wound up going out here getting in his feelings, and he got so much in his feelings that he acted on impulse and wound up allegedly shooting this woman, all because she rejected his advances. And now he's in a place where he's going to be not only in jail, he's also going to possibly wind up in prison for the rest of his life, because when a black man goes out here and hurts or kills a white woman, that's a guaranteed prison sentence in usually most cases. That's a guarantee that you're going to be going to jail for the rest of your life over some female who just said no to an advance that you made. And instead of you going out here and stacking paper and living well, this man's going to be in a penitentiary making 10 cents an hour and trying to fend off the advances of Bubba and Tiny and Roscoe. And as they're putting moves on him, he's not going to be able to fight back, because this is a weak dude who had to go get a weapon, and because he didn't know how to go out here and conflict resolve. And as a result, he's going to be trying to fend off these Bubba, Tiny, and Roscoe's advances as they're out here looking to go get in that booty. And as they're looking to get in that booty, they're going to probably wear that booty out to the point where they're wearing it like a sock after they trade this guy for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, cups of coffee, Kit Kat candy bars, packets of Crystal Light, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, and other packs of commissary. That's the final fate that your Michael Carpenter wound up getting into, because he didn't know how to move, because he possibly didn't have a father to teach him how to work at a job. He didn't have any men to teach him how to navigate this job, and he didn't have any men to teach him, like I learned, hey, you can see these women but not see them at all. And that's something that I learned back before I even started working places at 17 years old, when I watched the whole Clarence Thomas hearings go on, and Anita Hill made that allegation of sexual harassment to sabotage Clarence Thomas's chances at the Supreme Court. So I understand how to move on these jobs, but I also understand that there are many young brothers out here who don't understand how to move on these jobs, and because they don't have a father or another man out here to teach them how to move on these jobs. This is why I write books like Stop Simping in the Workplace, because these young men need that information, because they're not getting that information that will teach them how to survive on these jobs. So I'm giving it to those brothers out there and those young men out there all over the world, so that they don't wind up messing up their lives by going out here and trying to call themselves smacking women at the job, or going out here and doing things that will wind up messing themselves up. Moreover, I give them these information so that they can identify these female predators on the job, so that they won't get taken advantage of by these female predators on the job. Again, this is not just about selling a book to a young man to make some money like a pimp pastor. No, this is about giving a man life changing information that will allow him to be able to avoid certain life situations that could possibly wind up messing up his life for the rest of his life. Because if you don't know what to do, and nobody's teaching you, you're gonna wind up lost. And when I was a young guy, I didn't know how to do certain things, and some people would say, "Oh, people are gonna take advantage of me," and I said, "No, I'm not gonna be like that, because no, when I get into a position of power, I want to go out here and teach that young man so that he will avoid winding up in a bad situation, and because I don't want to see a guy wind up getting jammed up like that." Because I remember back in 1994 when I applied for a messenger job, and this guy who was running HR just totally disrespected me and then called my mother saying people would take advantage of me. And I said, no, I'm going to be a leader in this situation. If I get this kind of power, what I'm going to do is go out here and look to teach another young man and prepare another young man as related to surviving in the workplace. I'm not going to go out here and disrespect that man and make it where he never really feels confident about moving himself forward. No, I'm going to go out here and show this man an example of manhood by teaching him what he needs to know so that he can go out here and move forward as related to where he wants to go in his career. And that's one of the things I would have done if I had stayed on one of these jobs. But since I can't work on the job, I'll work and do this with books like Stop Simping in the Workplace. And that book that this guy wanted to try to make a snide comment about me selling, that book has helped lots of men be able to go out here and move their careers forward. It has helped many men go out here and avoid many of the pitfalls and traps that many men out here sadly have fallen into because they don't have any guidance like your Michael Carpenter had. And it's helped many men be able to stay on their job. And that's why I wrote Stop Simping in the Workplace, because I don't want to see guys going out here simping on this job and winding up losing everything and losing their freedom at the end of the day over some woman who already been out here with other guys. Man, it's not worth your time going out here chasing women at the job. And that's why I wrote books like Stop Simping in the Workplace, and I make videos about guys like Michael Carpenter so that brothers and men can go out here and learn from their example and learn what not to do, because your Michael Carpenter was a textbook example of what you don't do when you get on one of these jobs and you start making some decent paper. When you get a decent job and you start making some decent paper, all the women at that job are off limits, because you don't want to mess up the place where you make money. And that's the old adage that says don't crap where you eat, because you make a mess that messes up your life. And that's what this dude wound up doing. He wound up messing up his life, and he wound up messing it up to the point where he went from being a black man who was working and making good money to a black man who is now wearing prison orange and waiting to wind up on trial, possibly to wind up in prison for the rest of his life. Because again, when it comes down to a black man lusting after a white girl and then taking her life, he's guaranteed to go to prison. So this man has basically destroyed his life. But had he read Stop Simping in the Workplace or any of the other Stop Simping books I produced, maybe possibly this guy would have kept his good job, kept making that good money, and possibly he might have wound up maintaining his freedom. That is what the commenter doesn't understand about the Stop Simping books. Those books basically can, again, change your life in ways that many people take for granted. But for a young brother or a young man, this information can change their life. And I've gotten comments from people on Facebook. A brother just recently told me how the Stop Simping book changed his life. And I get many mothers coming out here and saying they want this book for their sons, because they understand that if this young man doesn't have this information, it could possibly lead to him winding up getting jammed up. And those people are grateful for those books, because they understand that this world is a rough place. And if they can get any information that gives them an advantage, they're glad to have that information, because that information can possibly lead to them being able to start building and moving their lives forward. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the books in the Stop Simping series, like Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, because I don't want to see guys getting jammed up in the social marketplace. Stop Simping in the workplace, because I didn't want to see guys getting jammed up on the job. And Stop Simping in cyberspace, because I didn't want to see guys getting jammed up online. I write those books because I don't want to see guys getting their lives completely destroyed, because getting involved with the wrong woman can wind up destroying your life and making it where you wind up in either getting the place where you can't work, or a place where you're getting locked up, or at worst you wind up in the grave. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid predatory women and bad situations on the job, you can pick up Stop Simping in the Workplace on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace at other online booksellers like Barnes & Noble, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Smashwords. And you can also pick up the other books in the Stop Simping series like Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Stop Simping in cyberspace, and you can also pick up other men's issues books like Manginas, The Misadventures of Captain Save-'em, The Man Crisis, and The Woman Crisis, and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And if you want to see me make more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today.